I'm doing, I know it's risky. Like what you saying, nah, I ain't trippin'. Like I'm a king, no, not a nigga. I keep my distance from the wicked. Like is they ready, the time is ticking. I let them come and witness. Want my people to shine with greatness. Remember the days of angels. Our time is
outside for another Shabbat. Give me check. Give me damn, it's good. Give me Acts chapter 18 and verse number 4. Give me Acts 18 and 4. So all praise to the Most High. Alright, the Most High has blessed us with another Sabbath, another week to come out, do the work, prophesy the downfall of America, the so-called great, and wake up the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, also knownly as the lost sheep of the house of Israel in the Bible.
Right.
Hey, sister, you see yourself on the sound right here? Try the spirit, I don't know. Give me Acts 18.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 18 and verse 4.
Bring it out.
And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks.
So it's the Sabbath day, it's the spiritual synagogue. And our job is to persuade Israel, the Jews that know they're Israel, and the Greeks, the so-called Hellenists, the ones that's indoctrinated with America. Our job is to persuade them, convince them that they are the true biblical Israelites, that the Most High is only for them, that Yahweh is only for them. We have to bind them up and bring them back into the fold, as they was once before. Read that again.
And he reasoned in the synagogue every Sabbath and persuaded the Jews and the Greeks. And when Silas and Timotheus were come from Macedonia, Paul was pressed in the spirit.
On that, give me Acts 15 and verse number 1. So that's our job. Our job is to contend for the faith, bring Israel back to the marriage, to persuade Israel who their God really is, who the Lord really is, cut down false doctrines, and that's the same acts that our father was doing in the days of old. And everything that we doing now, this is nothing new. A lot of people like to say it's a new religion. The BHIs, that's a new movement. But no, little do they know that this quote-unquote movement has been going on ages and ages and ages ago. Read this in Acts 15. These are the acts that our fathers did. We're doing those same exact acts to this very day. Read this.
It's the book of Acts chapter 15 verse 1. And certain men which came down from Judea taught the brethren and said, except ye be circumcised after the manner of Moses, ye cannot be saved.
We had certain men around this time that wanted to debate, and they had certain doctrines, and their mind was bad, and their so-called religion that they was coming with wasn't according to the words of the Lord. So they taught during this time that they were still under the law. Now let's ask, hey brother with the hat on, brother with the book bag. So you had men during this time, they wanted to debate a cause that they didn't have understanding of. Again, around this time in Acts, the Lord has already, got buried, did the resurrection, and they're still teaching that we're under the so-called law. So you have Paul and these other men, you had to inform them and get them wisdom and knowledge on what the true understanding of the Lord was. Read on.
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension.
Hey sisters, how y'all feel about the son? Quick question, how y'all feel about the son? You know?
When therefore Paul and Barnabas had no small dissension and disputation with them, they determined that Paul and Barnabas and certain other of them should go up to Jerusalem unto the apostles and elders about this question.
And that's what this truth is about. It's that they had no small dissension, meaning a dispute, a so-called debate. So they had no small debate about this matter. And it's, again, the same things that we're doing now, our fathers already did back then. They was debating in the synagogues. They was waking Israel up in the synagogues. They was keeping the Sabbath day, coming out into the streets and the highways and byways, giving the sheep this true word and this edification, and breaking down the true understanding of what this truth, the so-called black and Hispanics being Israelites, and what this really about. Jump to verse 17.
Verse 17. That the residue of men might seek after the Lord, and all the Gentiles upon whom my name is called, saith the Lord, who doeth all these things. Know unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to God.
And that's a part of the job, to not trouble those which are amongst the Gentiles turned to God. Because you had, again, those men back there in the decision. Give me that in there's Philippians chapter 3 and verse number 1. You had men that tried to force men to be circumcised as if we were still under the law. All right, the decision. And that's madness. Hey, brother. Real quick, brother. Read this in Philippians 3.
This is the book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 1. Finally, my brethren, rejoice in the Lord. To write the same things to you, to me indeed is not grievous.
So you have Paul writing to the church of Philippi, you know?
To write the same things to you, to me indeed is not grievous, but for you it is safe. Beware of dogs.
Beware of dogs, which are heathens and men that creep in, you know?
Beware of evil workers.
Beware of evil workers and false doctrines, you know?
Beware of the concision.
Beware of what?
Beware of the concision.
You have the concision. Man, that foot. You go into that. Keep going to that word concision in the Greek, real quick. Hey, sister, how you feel about this sign right here? I know you're on a busy day, but real quick, I just want to know how you feel about this sign. History. If you had one word to describe this sign, what would it be? Ancestors. Now these are ancestors. Now you believe in the Bible, right? Did you know that the history of our ancestors that you see on the sign, before this happened, it was actually prophesied to happen in the Bible? It was supposed to happen. The thing is, if it was supposed to happen, and if this history is recorded of in the Bible, how come nobody read that history to us? Now your question should be, well, where is that at in the Bible? We're going to show you. Give me Deuteronomy 28. Let's start at verse 15. Because if I was to ask you, sister, when you look at this sign, would you call this action right here a blessing or a curse? It's a curse. You got a term called what? Generational what? It's a term called generational curses. You ever heard that before? So it's a term that's thrown out a lot called generational curses that's placed on the so-called black community.
Right.
Of course, slavery.
Right.
Got the Jim Crow era.
Right.
By the time when they was beating us with hoes and hanging us and lynching us, even to this day, police brutality and killings. It's always seemed like it's something with the black Hispanic community.
Right.
Those are called generational curses, where each generation goes through. Exactly. That's actually written up in the Bible. I'm gonna show you this. That's right. You learn something new every day. Now let's read it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
This is Moses talking to the Israelites.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So the Israelites, if you don't listen to God,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
If you don't do the commandments that God commanded us,
then all these curses.
All these what?
Then all these curses.
What's in the Bible?
Then all these curses.
All these curses
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Moses told the Israelites. You know what Moses is, right? He split the sea, gave the Israelites the 10 commandments, went up on Mount Sinai. Very great man. He told the Israelites, look, if you don't do these commandments that God gave you, all these curses are going to come upon you and overtake you. Jump to verse 46.
Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Curses are going to be upon us for a sign to know who we are. A wonder, because people are going to be like, damn, these the Israelites, they going through hell. And for what?
And upon thy seed forever.
That's generational. These curses are going to be upon your seed. What is your seed? Yeah, what is your seed? So let's say, So let's say you had a grandmother and she said, I'm got this inheritance, I'm leaving it down to my seed. What is your seed? Your family, your children, namely your children that come after you. So Moses said that these curses are going to be upon not just you, but upon your seed. You got something called a seed line. That's a seed line. So he said these curses are going to be upon you and your seed line. That's what you call a generational curse. That's written up in the Bible. Now these specific curses right here are actually written up in the Bible. Go to verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Right? The Israelites are going to be cursed in every cities and what?
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
And cursed where?
In the field.
God said the Israelites were going to be cursed in the fields. What do you call these right here? What are these? Slave fields. God said the Israelites will be cursed in the fields. This is prophecy, sister. This is written up in the Bible. It's going to be a curse upon one race of people. They're going to be cursed in every generation, their seed line. And one of the curses is they're going to be cursed in the fields. Pick a slavery, corn, tobacco, cotton.
Right.
All these things happen to what people? Our people. Our people. Jump to verse 54. Jump to verse 30. All right, for sure, sister. For sure. We got a flyer for you. You an Israelite, sister. You God's chosen people. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High. All right, give and go. All right, give it up for the Lord. That's a give and go right there. All right, give it up for the Lord. All right, let's go back to what we had. Uzi Holder, Acts 15.
Oh, I got the blue letter.
Oh, yeah. Bring that up. That's right. That's that give and go right there.
Right.
All right, bring this up.
So this the blue letter of concision.
So the concision, break it down.
Psalms G2698. Right. It reads to cut up and mutilation. Right. It gets a cutting down or off. Right. Concision. All right. Let me go to. Right, that's it.
All right, so you have men that was known for doing those acts. To cut off, forcibly, grab you, walk, or circumcise you. You had a man, and that's off. Read that again in Philippians 3. So you had men that had a false teachers, as we read in Acts 15. Acts 15, you had men that forced men that said, look, you got to be circumcised. If you're not circumcised, you're going to hell if you're not going to make it. Here it is in Philippians. Paul is running to this church. He's telling them, hey, look, beware of these men. Read that again. And as a man of Israel, you have to know what doctrines are out. Before that damn plague got to the church, Paul, he wrote to the church of Philippi. He said, look, before hell break loose, look out for these men, look out for dogs, evildoers, evil workers, and watch out for men that forcibly try to circumcise men and corrupt the gospel. Read that again.
Philippians chapter 3 and verse number 2. Beware of dogs. Beware of evil workers. Beware of the concision. For we are the circumcision which worship God in the Spirit and rejoice in Hamashiach, Yahushua, and have no confidence in the flesh.
And that's what the teachings of this true gospel is. Everything is not, carnal all the time. Now, is there a law against circumcised? Yes. Genesis 17, Leviticus 12, it is a law. But the true circumcision is with the heart, with your mind. True circumcision is how you forcibly cut off, spiritually speaking, the foreskin around your heart and have a pure heart towards the Lord. Hey family, how y'all feel about this sign? 2 minutes. How y'all feel about this sign, fam? We on in that.
Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh that he hath whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more.
Right, so Paul is letting them know, hey look, if any man can really boast in the flesh and carnal works, hey, he can do that more. Right, we know? Because when you read 2 Corinthians 11th chapter, you read about the things that Paul went through, his troubles, his joys, his hardships. And he righteously had to boast in the things that he actually went through. Give me 2 Corinthians 11 and start at verse 13. Read this.
Whereof he might trust in the flesh, I more circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law, a Pharisee.
So Paul, when it came to the law, before he even came to the knowledge of the Lord, he was a Pharisee. A Pharisee is the most straightest sect of the law. You had the Ensigns, the Sadducees, the Pharisees. You had many sects during that day. Paul, he was a Pharisee. That was the chief sect of the day. So as he's going through this list and he's breaking it down of how he can boast in the flesh, he's saying no man can do that more than him. But he's only doing that to magnify how much more the spirit really matters other than the flesh. You know?
Concerning zeal, persecuting the church, touching the righteousness which is in the law, blameless. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Hamashiach.
And that teaching shows that this thing is not about carnal works all the time. This truth is not about, damn, hey, look, I went on a 7-day fast. Do better than me. And you just boast on that 7-day fast or that 20-day fast. You got men that boast on how perfect they keep the Sabbath day. You got men that boast on carnal things but neglect the spiritual essence behind this word and this truth.
Right.
What you holding? What I call it?
2 Corinthians 11.
Tanya, bring that up.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
Right, same thing that Paul told the church of Philippi. He wanted the church of Corinth about the same thing. Because you have men now falsely trying to come into this thing and frame themselves as mighty men through their works. You know, so he warned them. He said, we read that last part again.
Transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ.
Right.
And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
You have men that transformed themselves to be apostles of Christ. They came in the name of the Lord, but their works didn't show it. They said they believed in Yahweh, but their works didn't show it. Their spirit didn't show it. And that shows the leadership and the discernment and how vigilant Paul was when it came to knowing doctrines and cutting down doctrines. Like yesterday, had that Lutheran spirit. So it's good to know certain doctrines and certain religious, for lack of better terms, to know how to dive and dissect and break it down. Give me First Corinthians 9 and verse 20. It's good to know these different things that you may relate to the church, relate to Israel, and by that way you bring in more and more sheep. Give me Jeremiah 16:16. That's what the Most High called us fishermen. And so, let's sit on that. Give me I want to get another precept. Give me Matthew chapter 1 and verse 18 too. But bring out what you got first, and then give me Matthew 1:18.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 20. And unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews.
So like the same thing with Paul. Like as a Jew, he became a Jew that he may gain the Jews. And that's another reason it's good to study and know these diverse doctrines, because you relate to the people in that way. You can't relate with everyone just strictly off a million precepts and forcing it down their throat. You got to be relatable in this truth. You got to learn how to have different avenues and have different words and witty words when it comes to bringing in the sheep. Hey sister, how you feel about the son? 2 minutes for the Lord. All right, we're doing?
Right? And unto the Jews I became as a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law.
And he can relate to that. Why? Because Paul, he was a Pharisee. When you read Acts 24 and Acts 26, right? As we read in Philippians the 3rd chapter, Paul, he was a chief Pharisee. You know, reading that in Acts the 7th chapter when he stoned Stephen, and read about he converted and came into the knowledge in Acts the 9th chapter. So you see even the journeys of Paul and how he was in the world and how he became a Jew and how he related to the Jews and as a Pharisee and as knowing the law, things of that nature. And he was able to relate in Israel according to the way that he lived. You know?
Right? That I might gain them that are under the law.
Right?
To them that are without the law, as without the law.
Right, and as with them that were without the law, as without the law, because Paul, he was sent to the Gentiles.
Right.
The Gentiles, they didn't have the law. We read Romans the 11th chapter. I believe Galatians the 6th chapter. Read about how Paul was sent. Give me that real quick. Hold that. I'm not calling a lot of precepts. Give me Galatians chapter 6. And I believe that's verse 4. No, Galatians 6 and let me see what we get there. Galatians chapter 6, start at verse number. Maybe in the wrong chapter. When he was sent to the circumcision, Paul was sent to the circumcision. Let me see. I'll look for it later. Bring this out.
Keep reading on Matthew. Right, verse 21.
Right.
To them that are without the law, as without the law.
Right.
Being not without the law to God, but under the law to Christ, that I might gain them that are without law. To the weak became I as weak, that I might gain the weak.
Right.
I am made all things to all men.
Paul said,
I am made all things to all men.
read that again.
I am made all things to all men.
That's what you call being relatable. So Paul, he was made all things to all men, that he made what?
That I might be all means save some.
Right, that by all means he may save some. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to be a remnant that come back. like we always go over, the Lord not calling each man from the 12 tribes of Israel. No, he's always looking for that remnant, so he was all things to all men that he might save some. 1 soul, 2 souls, 3 souls. But that shows the dedication, how much Paul really put in, how much work he put in when it came to these different matters relating to the church. As we read in Acts the 18th chapter, verse 4, how he was able to relate to the Jews and to the Greeks. You know what in that? Actually, give me Matthew.
Matthew 18:1.
I believe it's Matthew 4, actually. Try Matthew 4 and 18. And give me Jeremiah 16:16.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse number 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, said the Lord, and they shall fish them, and after...
So read that part again.
Behold, I will send for many fishers, said the Lord, and they shall fish them.
That's what Paul was. Paul was a chief fisher. Why was he a chief fisher? Because the bait that he had by related to all men, he was able to reel some in. Just like we go and fish on the carnal level. You going out, who was going fishing at Tabernacles? Did you catch any? No. So what? Right? So yeah, we was fishing at Tabernacles. And you know, brothers had their diverse baits on it. And that's spiritual. Why? Because in this truth we have diverse baits. Like how we just read, be all things to all men, that you might save some. You may have diverse baits, so you throw all those baits in that you may pour some in. Alright, it's the same thing with this truth. So the Lord said he will send forth for many fishers. This is that time of fishing. That time to reel in, put your bit on that damn hook. Alright, cast that reel into the sea, and you wait to bring in the fish, you reel them in, and then you feed them this good word, this good knowledge.
Right.
Hey brother, real quick. Brother, quick question. Which race do you come from out the Bible? On the sign, right here. Brother, 2 seconds, brother, 2 seconds, brother.
Here, brother. Take a flight, brother. Take a flight.
That we may save some. So this thing is not for everybody. Right? Yeah, he didn't pipe. We piped him. That's Luke 7. We piped unto him, but he didn't dance. Spiritually speaking. We don't know this.
And they shall fish them.
Right.
And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them.
Right. And then the next season, of course, is hunting season. When the Lord goes send the elect the 4 corners of the earth, fetch up all the heathen, put damn chains on their neck, thrust them through, and then we're going to be ruling with the Lord with a rod of iron. All right, rejoicing in that day. Right. But before that, it's that time of fishing season. We got to fish in the real land of lost sheep like the Lord did. With like Peter. Let's read about Peter. Give me Matthew 4.
This is the book of Matthew 4, verse 17. From that time, Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
You know what?
And Yahushua, walking by the sea of Galilee, saw 2 brethren, Simon called Peter.
So the Lord says, seen 2 brethren. He said Simon Peter and who else?
And Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers.
It's like, read that part again.
And Andrew his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishers. And he said unto them, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men.
And I will what?
And I will make you fishers of men.
Where are we?
Fishers of men.
Read that again?
Fishers of men.
So the Lord will make us fishers of men. That was already prophesied during the time when Yahushua was walking the earth. He said he would make us fishers of men. And this work that we're doing is the chief work when it comes to fishing. We got people that fish on the carnal level when it comes to, wickedness and madness. People fish to have new people hire their jobs and fish for vanity and fish for vain things. But when you're in this truth, you're really fishing for souls. Right. Read Proverbs 11 and verse number 30. You're fishing for souls that you may save some. And those souls that you want really belong to the Most High.
Right.
Read this is what you got in Galatians.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 2 and verse 7. But contrariwise, when they saw that the gospel of the uncircumcision was committed unto me, as the gospel of the circumcision was unto Peter.
Right, so Peter, he had the gospel of the uncircumcision. So Peter, his job, his message, for lack of better terms, was to be sent to those Israelites that was without the law. Peter, he was sent to the ones that was with the law. And that's why in Philippians and 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter, he had to relate to all men that he may save some. So bring out Proverbs 11 to 30. And now all that is a grievous work. Give me Nehemiah chapter 6 and verse 3. All this is a grievous work, but it's a righteous work. All right, on the right hand side. Not grievous in the sense of it's tired, it's burdensome, but grievous to where the point is it's not easy, but it's joyful. Like we read 2 Maccabees, the 2nd chapter. Right. It's like preparing a banquet for these people. Right? And we got to furnish the table to make sure that this feast is prepared for the return of our Lord. Bring this out, what you got?
It's the book of Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 30. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls.
He that winneth souls. How do you win souls? By finding souls and fishing them and bringing them back into the fold. Hey sisters, real quick, I got a quick question for y'all.
I have a flight, I'm sorry.
Alright sister, take our flyer. You an Israelite. You God's chosen people, sister. Alright, you will be an Israelite. You gotta repent and keep God's commandments. Right. The Lord said he that winneth souls is what?
It's wise.
It's what?
It's wise.
That again?
It's wise.
So he that winneth souls is wise. How do you win souls? Again, according to the precepts and applying the wisdom related to all men. Going out into the highways and byways. Bringing Israel back to the marriage. All these are different ways and avenues of winning souls for the Most High. Give me James 5 and verse 20. Bring out what you got.
It's the book of Nehemiah chapter 6 and verse number 3. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I am doing a great work.
What are we doing?
I am doing a great work.
Read that again.
I am doing a great work.
And this is a great work. You know, on the carnal level, you got men in these, you got carnal men that see this, and all they see is just BHIs, Black Hebrew Israelites, right? Black Israelite cult. Put them on these different websites and call them hate groups, and they're the black KKK. All this madness. But Nehemiah and our father said that this is really a great work. This is a work that. This work is spiritual to where the carnal eye can't even see it. Right. Here it is, we're starting up a great insurrection and nobody knows it. All just by reading the words of God or reading the prophecies. You got a question?
Hey.
Yeah, you got a question? See that? So this is really a great insurrection that was spiritually starting up like Moses. How did Moses start that insurrection? By teaching the people. All right, how did Judas Maccabeus start up that insurrection? It was spiritual first. It started with the laws of the Most High God. Right. The same way how it is now. We're starting up this great insurrection and rebellion on a spiritual level. That's madness. But it's all through the words of the Most High God. This place is gonna, man, this place is finished. They did. Wow. Here it is. It's World War III. It's the beginning of World War III. Right. And that's what people are amazed at. Yeah, Russia got all these ICBMs, nukes, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Yemen. Everybody's getting, some type of preparation for this big, great day of judgment out of Valley of Jehoshaphat. And these Babylonians is just amazed at the most simplest things. Sister, where do you see your nationality on this sign? Real quick. So, man, our people are finished, man. What they say, I love, man, you can't make this up. Out of all the places throughout the city you could be, you want to post about the service of the Most High. But that's spiritual, that's Satan right there. That's Mark the 4th chapter in full effect. But bring this out what you got.
Nehemiah chapter 6 and verse 3. Right. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Right. Why should the work cease?
Why should the what?
Why should the work cease?
Read that again.
Why should the work cease?
Why should this work cease? Why should carnal things and vanity allow this work to cease? Right. But again, this work it can't cease. We the servants of the Most High God. There is no stopping this truth. You can do nothing against the truth but for the truth. So this truth is always going to prolong until the Lord come back and crack this out and establish his righteousness within the four corners of the earth. But until then, we have to put down that groundwork and that labor and spiritually break up that ground like how husbandry is. Break up that ground to put in that good oil and that good seed and allow these seeds to grow up. Right. So in the 1 Corinthians, the 3rd chapter. We 2 Maccabees 2. I believe that's start at verse 23. And bring in what you got. Hey, sister. Read this.
This is the book of James chapter 5 verse 20.
Bring it out.
Let him know that he which converteth the sinner from the error of his way.
Right, this is going into you catch that fish. He that converteth the sinner from the error of his way, because before they read Proverbs 11 and 30. He that winneth souls is wise. So when you win souls and you become a wise man, you convert a sinner from the error of his way. You know?
Shall save a soul from death.
And you save souls from death. And when you save souls from death, you're fulfilling Luke the 13th chapter. All right, Luke the 15th chapter, you causing Israel to repent and you bringing them back to the fold. You bringing that lost sheep that was lost for all these years back to the fold. Bunch of vanity and madness. What the hell is this?
What is that? Man up!
This place is finished. And we went over it on one of the calls we had on the scribe call. You know, the last time Israel was together in peace, at least, was all the way in 931 BC, man. All the way in that's almost 1000 BC. That's a long time ago. So all the way back to 931 BC, that was the last time Northern and Southern Kingdom actually dwelt in one land and unity and peace. And this work is so big, imagine fulfilling something that was broke for 4,000 plus years. Binding up something that's been broken and disassembled for over 4,000 years. Both Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, 931 BC, when the kingdom split. We've been separated. But the Lord has set up in these last days for us to come back together and pursuant to the prophecies, bring Israel back all under one fold again, pursuant to Ezekiel 37. Bring out what you got. Give me Ezekiel 37 and verse number 14. Start at verse 26.
This is a book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 2 and verse 26.
Bring it out.
Therefore to us that had taken upon us this painful labor.
Yeah, come on, brother. Y'all cool. Y'all can walk past. But before I walk past, I did have one question, though. Now, y'all believe in the Bible, right? So in the Bible, God created 18 nations of people. My question is, for the so-called black and Hispanic man, what biblical race would y'all come from out of all 18 nations? Because, you know, every race that God created, they have to still be walking on earth. No race just spiritually, just physically just disappears. So what race would y'all come from out of all 18 nations? Read Jeremiah 17:4. Would y'all know? We wouldn't know. But that's the thing with the so-called black and Hispanic man. Everybody knows their identity, their nationality. Chinese man, you can go back to where if you wanted to? China. What about the Indian man? Where can you go back to? India. What about the Arab man? Arabia. What about the so-called black man? I mean, Africa's consisted of over 50 countries. Every race, not only do they have a landmass, a home country, but they have their own flag, they have their own dances that they do, their own colors that they celebrate. They have their own customs and clothing and dressing. What about the so-called black man? What's some of our customs that we have, or that we had, according to our heritage? Yeah, I mean, but everybody got music. What kind of music do we have? Well, we are one people. So as a race, what is our custom? Because you don't hear the Chinese man saying, the Chinese man don't say, well, I'm in America. Are you talking about the Chinese people? No, you know, he go back to his country, he put on his garments, and you know, he celebrate the day of the dragon. They get under that dragon and do the little dance. They do that. You know, the East Indian man, he go back, he worship his elephant, he put the red dot on his forehead. That's what they do. For us, it seems like we've almost been disconnected or discontinued from our heritage. What you say? Now, in the Bible, it's a race of people that's been disconnected or discontinued from their heritage. Their nation is known as the Israelites. I'm going to show you something real quick before y'all leave. Read this.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4.
Bring it out.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Now, if you wanted to take a broad guess, what does it sound like Jeremiah is talking to? Us, so-called black people. Read that again.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies.
Only we're going to discontinue. God said, I'm going to cause thee to serve thy enemies. Read on.
In the land which thou knowest not.
Hold on, that sound awful like, you know, black history. Sound like this right here on this sign. I'm going to cause you to serve your enemies in a land that you don't know. You think we knew about America before they captured us? No. God said, I'm going to discontinue from your heritage. I'm going to make you serve your enemies, which is forcibly slavery, in a land where you don't know. You know? Right.
For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
He said the Israelites went through this because we made God angry. We kindled a fire in God. So my question is, if Jeremiah is talking to the Israelites, and that happened to us, according to the Bible, who must we be? The Israelites. Now, that's playing upon tables. It don't take 1,000, verses. Now, believe it or not, like how you said, we are the Israelites according to the Bible. Moses, the prophet of God, he would be a so-called black man. Jesus Christ, he would be a so-called black man. Job, he would be a so-called black man. All these men in the Bible would be our ancestors. We would be the true biblical Israelites, the real Hebrews, the real Jews. Give me Jeremiah 14 and verse 2. The Bible also says that the black man is the real Jew, for lack of a better term.
Right.
Let me show you that. Give me that in Jeremiah 14 and 2. 14 and 2.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2.
Yo.
Judah mourneth, in the gates thereof language.
Say that again slowly.
Judah mourneth, in the gates thereof language.
The Lord said Judah mourning. Mourning means to what? Sad, depressed. God said Judah. You look on this sign. What do you see right across from Judah? So-called American blacks. According to the Bible, there's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Kind of like with Native Americans. They're all one race of people, but they have different tribes. Same thing with the Israelites. We're all one people, but we're consistent of different tribes.
Right.
God said the tribe of Judah, which y'all will most likely come from, is in mourning. Read that again.
Judah mourneth, in the gates thereof languish. They are black.
They are what?
They are black.
The true Jews?
They are black.
Read that again.
They are black.
They are black.
Unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is going up.
God said that the real Jews are black unto the ground. When you look at that ground, you look at the soil. My bad, kind of like behind here. Certain parts are dark brown, certain parts are light brown.
Ew.
Same thing with the so-called black man. So you got some of us that's light, some of us that's dark, like the soil. God, he created man from the dust of the ground. So out the Bible, we just read that the tribe of Judah would be so-called black people. That's out the Bible. Now, y'all went to church before, right? How come they didn't teach us that in church? That's right, because the white man owned the churches.
Right.
What about in school? Everybody know about, history teachers and what was this doing Black History? What was the Bible letting these verses during Black History Month?
Right.
They taught you about Martin Luther King. If y'all don't mind me asking, how old are y'all? 21? 21? So y'all learned about Martin Luther King 21 plus times out of your whole life. Here it is, we just read about the description of the Jews in the Bible and what they went through pursuing the curses. And they still giving y'all Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. Who else? What's some other ones that they give us? Harriet Tubman. Now, believe it or not, but the people of the Bible are actually your ancestors. And they, the same way how they call y'all black, they call the men of the Bible black, just like how it is now. Give me Acts 13 and give me Job. Actually, give me Solomon. Sons of Solomon 1 to 5. Y'all know about King Solomon? Now, King Solomon, his father was King David. King David was also an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, who also be likened to a so-called black man. Now, we're going to read about King David's son Solomon, the wisest man on the earth. And we're going to see what his skin color was, and we're going to see the type of attire that he wore. You're going to realize that the same stuff that he wore is going to remind you of a certain race of people, us, to this day. Bring this out.
It's the book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. I am black, but comely.
What does Solomon say?
I am black, but comely.
Comely means like beautiful, handsome. Solomon, he was the first man on record. The first man to say, like, I'm black and beautiful. He probably had his, garment. Not you, he was a king. He had his garments on, looked nice. Beard was probably oiled up. Hair, hair had his hair lined up.
Right.
So he said, hey, look, man, I'm black and beautiful,
I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
And he talking to the women. He said, oh, daughters of Jerusalem, the Israelites,
As the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Verse 6, look not upon me because I am black, because the sun have looked upon me.
Solomon said, don't look at me because I'm black. The sun looked upon me. You know, when that sun kind of beam on you, get a little bit darker. Solomon was saying the same thing. Look, I'm black and I'm handsome. The sun looked upon me, got me a little bit darker. His skin absorbing that sunrise was melanin. And Solomon said the same thing. That's our ancestor. That's how we talk now.
Right, Chuck.
Jump to verse 10. We're gonna see what Solomon rocked around his neck and his teeth.
Verse 10, thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels.
Solomon, as a king, he said his teeth were comely with rows of jewels. What that sound like? Grills. So they had grills back then.
Right.
So we don't.
Thy neck with chains of gold.
And Solomon was iced out. Hey, Johnny, they was the first one that had VVs. No, Solomon the first one, he had VVs, diamonds. Yeah, emeralds. Yeah, golds that we don't know, jewels that we don't know about. Sapphire, probably had sapphire, like say emerald, damn, gold, silver. What's some other ones?
Carbuncle.
Yeah, carbuncle. All these, topaz. Yeah, all these diverse damn stones and these jewels on his teeth. You should have looked for it now. You ain't gonna find that. You just can't go in your backyard. Oh look, found a ruby. Want to split it? 500,000 worth? You ain't gonna find that. Solomon, he had all that. And guess what? Solomon, his nationality was an Israelite. We're reading you about your ancestors in the Bible before slavery. Because if you ask, the school systems, you ask them about black history, they're gonna go back to when? Slavery, right? When was the last time they taught you about your history before the time of slavery? Never. Now the Chinese man, they going back to the Mongols and the Mongol dynasty and empire. What's that one Mongol king, Genghis Khan? They'll teach you about Genghis Khan. The so-called white man, he'll teach you about Alexander the Great and how he ruled in 331 BC. The damn Arab man and the Persian man, they'll teach you about the Achaemenid Empire, how they came into power. They'll teach you about Nebuchadnezzar and King Cyrus and Pharaoh. They'll teach you about all these old civilizations. What was our old civilizations at? What do we call ourselves?
Right.
These things aren't known. But the whole time it was actually written of in the Bible, as we just read.
Right.
Now give me Deuteronomy 29:1. What's the name of these people? The name of these people are the Israelites, God's chosen people. How do you know that it's God's chosen people? Because it's written of again in the Bible. Why do you think we went through all this and nobody else? God deals with us as with children. We are the real sons of God. When you have a son, you punish your son, you correct your son that he may be built up in the last end. God did the same thing with us. We went off, God punished us through oppression, but it's all to build us up in the last end. Bring this up, what you got?
This the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, verse 1. These are the words of the covenant.
All the words that we spoke to you that's in this Bible are the words of the covenant. You know?
Which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
Well,
the children of Israel.
God's chosen people.
The children of Israel.
Real people of the book.
The children of Israel.
We will be the children of Israel. We're not black people. We're not a nigger. We're not an Afro-American.
Right.
We're not what's some other names? Cotton picker.
Jigaboo.
Yeah, jigaboos. Porch monkeys. You're not these names that this society called you.
Right.
You really are kings walking this earth. Literally the descendants of kings walking this earth.
Right.
Like how we just read. Yeah, priests. Like how we just read King David, he was a king. Solomon, he's a king. He said he's black. If he's a king and he dies, he has children, descendants after him, then what do they become? Kings. Now, what if they die and then they go through all this hell of oppression and slavery? Does that take away them being kings? No. So we are still the descendants of those kings that once ruled, that God set up to rule. But again, they're not going to teach you this in church. They're not going to teach you this in the school system. No matter how much money you pay to go to Oxford and... See, look at that. She said free Palestine. Well, I've never heard nobody say free the so-called black man from systematic oppression.
Right.
It's always free these other nations. What about free the so-called black and Hispanic man?
Right.
So, and that shows how they really don't give a damn about you. Because here it is, we're talking about the oppression of all people. And clearly no one has caught it as bad as we did. Even through their pride, they still say, to hell with that. Free Palestine.
Right.
Free, and they're not even in slavery.
Right.
They just lost, they just losing in war. When has ever in history have you seen a nation lose in war and they say freedom? So that just lets you know the mindset of these people in America. They would rather say free a nation that's losing in war than free a nation who's physically in captivity to this day, which is your people. So bring out what you got.
Book of Acts, chapter 13 and verse 1.
These are one of the other names that they call us as a people that's written of in the Bible.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon. That was called nigger.
That was called what?
That was called nigger.
The people of the book called?
That was called nigger.
Had people in the Bible that was called niggers. It was called niggers in the 60s, 50s. Hell, today, us. So that even goes back to show. And that word nigger, when you go into it, it really means black. So that's another way of them racially profiling us as a people. Before it happened in the Americas, it happened back then. That's
In every other translation, it says the black man, if it doesn't say nigga.
That's right. So it's literally what it say, the black man. So these men are what they would call Negroes. These are your ancestors. Now the question is, if we the Israelites, if we God's chosen people, why did we go into slavery? All right, why did this oppression happen to us? Look at this picture right here. You have your little brother, your little sister being alligator bait. Now, why did these things, these atrocities, starving on slave ships, the so-called Native Americans being overcome by the conquistadors, men picking cotton and corn and tobacco in the fields and getting your flesh ripped off your back by a whip? Why did these things happen to God's chosen people? Why would God allow something like that to happen? A punishment. Now, for what though? Well, not really back in Israel. That's right, back in Israel. Back in Israel. Because God, He commanded us some laws, statutes, commandments, and He promised them to us. Well, you know, the so-called black men real hard here. We like to learn things the hard way. Give me Deuteronomy 4:5, and give me Daniel chapter 9 and verse number 11.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 11. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
That's like what you said. We broke the law, we transgressed, we went away from it.
All Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they may not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Therefore what?
Therefore the curse is poured upon us.
Because we left God, it said therefore the curse is poured upon us. What you call this right here is a curse. It's not a blessing. See, you know, in this channel they like to make curse seem like it's, you know, something light. You know, they may get their hair cut off and they can't go like Rapunzel. That was a curse. She got her hair cut off. Damn, what's that one? Sleeping Beauty. She got a curse and, you know, certain things was happening. Cinderella. But a real curse is when a whole nation of kings and priests gets turned from being royalty and rulers into slaves, the peasants, as a society. That's a real curse. So because we broke God's commandments that He promised us, He said curses upon us. Now these commandments, believe it or not, are really made for our benefit. Y'all know any commandments? Like the 10 Commandments. Right. It's like things of that nature. Now, believe it or not, it's over 600 commandments. These commandments are made to govern a race of people. Namely the Israelite race, our race, the so-called black and Hispanic man. But we took something that was special and holy and we did away with it. Bring this out. These are what the commandments are made for. Give me Deuteronomy 4 and 5.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it.
Any man we go to possess. It didn't say any man we go to be slaves. Say any man you want to go to possess it, meaning to be rulers and have authority over it, keep these judgments and these laws. You know?
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations.
So when we keep these commandments, God said that's our wisdom and our understanding in the sight of all the nations. Look how many nations just, you know, is in Chicago alone. The white man, the Chinese man, the Arab man, the East Indian man. God said when you keep these commandments, these nations, they're going to look at you and marvel. And are these nations looking at the so-called black man and marveling? No. They looking at you at the damn bus stop, looking at you shooting heroin up your arm, strung out, damn off heavy drugs, laid out in the streets, walking, stepping over your body. That's how they look at us now. But before then, you think they looked at King David like that? No. You think they looked at King Solomon like that? You think they looked at Moses like that? Now Moses, he went up to Pharaoh, he said, hey, look, hey, let my people go. That's how Moses was coming, because he kept God's commandments. And guess what Pharaoh did? He let them go. He split the water. Moses made it happen by the hand of the Most High. So when you keep the commandments, that's how these nations really gonna look at you. We have dominion and power. But when we don't, things like this happen. Slavery, captivity, murder, oppression, and all of it is just justified in this society. We got these ice raids. Y'all know about the ice raids? Yeah, Trump, all he did was sign some white piece of paper. And the people that was once dwelling in this land had it for themselves. He calling he calling the damn ice people, and they having them escort them from their own homeland. That's like someone just ran up in your house, took your children, took your child, and said, look man, it's mine, it is what it is. And nobody does nothing about it. You try to call the police, you call these, and it's all justified. That's the same thing that's going on with the so-called Hispanics. What we call the northern kingdom of Israel. So these things happen to us because we broke God's laws. So if these things happen because we broke the laws of God, then how must we fix it? By doing what? It's plain. Following the laws of God. Now we're gonna show y'all a few laws that are very easy that this society will not want you to keep. Let's go start with Leviticus 11. I'll start with Leviticus, the 11th chapter. You have something called a dietary law. Because as a king, you have things that you can eat, that you can't eat. A king finna not just leave his castle, go down to where everybody else is, break the dirt up, and eat damn worms and all type of filthiness. No, king gonna eat good, righteous foods, clean foods. God has set up clean and unclean foods for men to eat, and he told us what not to eat. Let's read Leviticus 11.
This is the book of Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof,
said the swine. Y'all know what swine is? Pig, the pork. Now you might have heard, in time past the sin to eat pork, right? Y'all heard that before? But did anyone ever show y'all where it was at in the Bible? Did anyone ever enforce it in your lifestyle to not eat pork? Your grandmother did, she told you don't eat it? Oh, that's good, that's beautiful. Because not only did she say it, but she got that from out the laws of God that our ancestors wrote by the hand of God, Moses. So read that again.
And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you.
What is the point?
He is unclean to you.
But the crispy fried bacon?
He is unclean to you.
But the BLT?
He is unclean to you.
Ham sandwich on Thanksgiving?
He is unclean to you.
All that pork, that chitlin, the damn, the breakfast sausage, I said all that's unclean to you. You know?
Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
I said it damn 3 times. Don't eat it, don't touch it, it's unclean. Unclean pig, don't eat it, swan, don't eat it, unclean. Said it over and over. Like I said earlier, so-called black men are hard-headed people. So God gotta say it 7 times over before you get to the next verse. So, no eating shrimp, crab, no eating pork. That's according to God's laws. Now, you say you don't eat it, right? Now, are you willing to put down pork for God? The whole praise to the Most High.
I don't like pork that much.
That's good. You should never like pork over the Lord. So that's beautiful right there. So that's what the land animals. A lot of certain land animals that's running up that we can't eat. We're gonna touch on the basics. We got, the classic dogs, cats. God said don't eat it. If it got paws and the grow upon all fours like a damn bear. You don't want to just be bear hunting, eating bear. Raccoons, damn possums, armadillos. You don't want to be, doing none of that madness. So we do have clean foods and unclean foods. Now, chicken, you can eat. Turkey, things that we normally eat, you can eat. It's always something that's out of the ordinary that's, it kind of give you, maybe I shouldn't eat that. We was in Texas last week, and you know Texas they kind of get down there with everything. That's the South. I told a brother, you know, you couldn't eat what was it? I think it was like a stingray or something, like a stingray. He said, yeah, brother, see they eat stingrays, damn jellyfish.
What?
They eat everything down there. Bears, raccoons. He said whatever run across that yard, we eat it. So you don't want to have that spirit. No, bring this out in verse 9. Because as kings, again, God set up righteous things that we can and we can't eat.
Right.
Bring this up.
Verse 9, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever had fins and scales, in the waters, in the seas, and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
To come out the waters, it has to have both fins and scales if you want to eat it. What's some things that got both fins and scales that come out the waters? Yeah, salmon. What else? Bass. Yeah, that's a good one. Got perch, tilapia. That's a lot of, you know, clean fish that got fins and scales. You know, you got to do the homework, you know, bluegill and things of that nature. Red snapper. That's a good one, red snapper. Y'all ever had red snapper? Well, yeah, red snapper. That's good right there. Especially down south, they know how to fry that up. Yeah. I believe what's Benjamin special? They got some fish. Yeah, soulfish. You know, down there in Jamaica, they get down with the soulfish. They know how to season that and fry it up real good. So that's clean meats. Now read on in there.
Right. Verse 10, and all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you.
God said if it don't have both fins and scales, it's an abomination. Now, that's common. Why do you think it's not in our spirit to eat, you know, things that normally don't have fins and scales, like shark? All right, you don't eat, you know, dolphins. You don't eat things of that nature. Now, a lot of things that we do eat that don't have fins and scales. Yeah, shrimp. What else? Yeah, catfish. That's a big one. That's a big one. Shrimp, catfish, lobster, crab. All these so-called seafood boils. That's off. I believe when you go into the history, why do you think we go to places like Red Lobster, for example? Why is the animal still alive in the tank before they damn cook it? Why isn't it already cooked and killed and frozen and then prepared? Because if you kill a crab and you wait too long, for lack of a better term, I'm sure to base as plain as possible. If you kill it and you wait a long time to cook it or fry it and things of that nature, it starts to become natural poison. Now, why is that? Because God already said from the beginning, don't eat it. That's why you never see a crab and it's just sitting in the freezer and they waiting for it to come out and just salt it up. Now, like I said, you go to damn Red Lobster, they got the damn lobster in the tank. The minute they take it out, they boil it, kill it, and then they put it on your plate. But it's never just, you know, killed and then it waits for a season and then they do it because that toxins, it starts to build up in it until it becomes a natural poison. So it's a sin to actually eat those things. Shrimp, crab, lobster, oysters, calamari, things of that nature. If it don't get fins and scales, it's a no-go. Not because we said it, not because God just said, you know, A, B, C, eat this, don't eat that. No, he said that for a reason. It could kill you. So these are commandments that our Heavenly Father has given the Israelites for us to keep. So are y'all willing to keep that commandment? It's easy, right? Just eat, you know, fish, fins and scales. Don't get fins and scales, don't eat it. It's unhealthy. Now, give me Numbers 15. This is another commandment. I'll give y'all two more. Numbers 15:38.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38.
Bring it out.
Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So another commandment is for God's chosen people to wear fringes. If I was to ask you what fringes are, what would y'all say fringes are? Fringes, is it on this side? Let's turn the sign around. Now fringes is a custom that you see a lot of so-called Native Americans wear a lot. Obadiah, he not out here. You know, he normally got on a garment. Nevertheless, fringes is those tassels. A lot of times that you see Native Americans have. For example, maybe like right here. All right, they normally have tassels on the borders of their garments. This image right here, that's what you call a fringe. A better image would be the brothers behind you right there. At the bottoms of the skirts of their garments, those are fringes. Now God commanded his chosen people to wear fringes. Well, I was going to tell you.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generation.
Throughout our generation, meaning continually. From your kids and then your next generation, the next generation, everybody has to follow this commandment. We don't.
And that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them.
Well, these fringes is a physical reminder to keep the commandments. So let's say you did go to Red Lobster, you forgot. It's hypothetical. You went to Red Lobster, you was supposed to order a damn lobster, whatever, a seafood boil. All right, they gave you the gloves, they gave you that nasty bib with the crab on it. All right, they give you that plastic bag with all that abominations in it.
Right.
And the minute you finna put your hand in your pocket to pull out your wallet, you rub your fringes. All right. Not the grandma's on. I got a lot of layers, so you can't really see it. But let's say you rubbed your fringes. These fringes are a physical reminder for you to remember God's commandments and keep them. Read that part again.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it.
You may look upon your fringes
and remember all the commandments of the Lord.
You look upon them and you begin to remember the commandments that we went over, and what?
And do them, what? And do them.
Let's forget about it.
And do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go on.
God says, so these fringes are a physical reminder for you to keep the commandments, do them. Because if you didn't have these on, all eyes would just look everywhere, and you'll just be lusting and getting into things, and you're looking at the beans, just lusting over it. And the whole time you're supposed to be paying attention about God's law. So these fringes are a physical reminder to help you out. All right, now Christ, he also wore fringes, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know that. The same thing that brothers wore on their shirts, Christ wore the same thing. I'm going to show you that. Read this.
Right, this is the book of Matthew chapter 9 and verse 20.
Bring it out.
And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment.
You had this woman, when Christ was walking the earth. Christ, he had a lot of people around him. Everybody wanted to get healed.
Right.
She fought through a crowd, she fell, and she was able to touch the hem of Christ's garment. Go into that word hem real quick. That word hem, it goes into a fringe, or what they would say tassels, or curly tassel, describing what a fringe is. So Christ, out the Bible, when this woman touched Christ's fringes, she became whole, she was healed. Read that part again, show them again.
Right? It says, and behold, a woman which was diseased with the issue of blood 12 years came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. For she said within herself, if I may but touch his garment,
if I could just touch Christ's garment,
I shall be whole.
Shall what?
I shall be whole. But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole.
So when she touched Christ's garment, he kind of looks, who the hell was that? And he seen he's seen his sister right there. And through her faith, he said, you know what, you are now whole. Why? Because she was dealing with an issue for damn 12 years. That bleeding out her private parts. So she had a disease to where it was uncontrollable. Men couldn't stop it. He said, you know, if I could just touch the Lord, maybe I'll be whole. She touched his fringe, or his hem. Let's see what that hem is.
This is the word hem in the Greek, krospedon, which means the fringe of a garment.
What?
The fringe of a garment.
It's in Numbers 15:38.
The fringe of a garment.
It's going to help you remember God's commandments.
The fringe of a garment.
Christ, he kept the commandments. Christ wore fringes. Christ was from the tribe of Judah. He will also be a so-called black man. And Christ, again, he had the fringes on. So even Christ, when he was stepping out, he had his garment on, and he was fly, he had his girdle and garter. He still was keeping God's commandments even when he was doing the work. And if Christ did it, best believe we got to do it, because we want to be Christ-like, right? That's what the definition of a true Christian is, to be Christ-like. Christ wore fringes, if Christ kept the commandments, if Christ loved his people, if Christ healed the poor, if Christ made his body and his life a living sacrifice, we got to do the exact same thing. If Christ taught his people to come back to the Lord, we got to do the exact same thing. So that's the message out here. Now, before y'all leave, what are 2 commandments that y'all learn? The fringes. That's right. That's right. So it's simple. Plain upon tables. Now, I'm going to give y'all one more. I know I said 3, I'm going to give y'all one more. Let's go to Exodus 31 and 16. This is another important commandment. Last commandment. All right, let's go to Exodus 31 and verse 16.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 31 verse 16. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations.
God said the children of Israel, which is who? Us. God said the children of Israel are made to observe the Sabbath and keep the Sabbath. Read that again. Throughout where?
Throughout their generations.
Throughout our generations. Meaning even to this very day, 2025, we are still obligated to keep the Sabbath. Now, what is the Sabbath? It's what? It's not Sunday. Remember, the Sabbath is on what day of the week? It's on the 7th day of the week. What day is the 7th day of the week? Saturday. You see how the church and play with your mind and got all things mixed up? Here it is out the book. I'm going to show you. Give me, start up earlier in there. Here it is. The Lord said it's on the 7th day of the week. For some reason, the church, they said, hey, hell with that. I'm doing it Sunday. First day of the week. And they're just changing the Lord's ordinances. No, God says Saturday, the 7th day of the week. Clearly, you look on the calendar, the first day is Sunday, the last day is Saturday. Right there.
Right? When we go to verse 15. It's the book of Exodus chapter 31 verse 15. 6 days may work be done.
6 days from Sunday to Friday.
But in the 7th is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work.
So if you like to do work and you want to break the Sabbath day, you want to go against it,
in the 7th day, he shall surely be put to death.
Shall what?
He shall surely be put to death.
That's not a light matter. That's how much God takes serious his Sabbath days. Okay, come on.
So in many languages, over 100, Saturday is translated as something similar to Sabato in Italian, Sabato in Spanish. I'm going to move on down. It says, all of which ultimately derived from the Hebrew word Shabbat, meaning Sabbath.
Meaning what?
Meaning Sabbath, the day of rest in Judaism.
Right, and that's plain. Right, it literally said, every language, it got Saturday that's close to the word Sabbath, Sabbatos. And as it said, the different variations of the word Sabbath. So where did the Sunday come from being a Sabbath day? Right. That's something that only America and Christianity has taught our people. That's why we say don't go to the church. Because if the church was teaching truth, all these things that we bringing up out the Bible, you wouldn't knew it. We don't quote it, God knows how many Bible verses, but you have our people that damn near live in the church, damn near got their own room in the church, though they go there so much. Don't even know the basics of who they are in the Bible, right? How we got into this position, right? God, the name of God chosen people that were supposed to keep the commandments. Why don't they know these things if they're in the church? I'm pretty sure you got grandmothers out here. They've been going to church for damn 50 years, right? Paying tithes to the past of 50 years. You ask them for 5 minutes for the Lord, they give you 5 minutes. You ask them the name 10 commandments. They only know what, 3, 2. They've been going to church for 50 years. You're supposed to be teaching me, right? Yeah, not even really. They just say, hey, look, Jesus is white, God loves everybody, and then they leave it. and then that's all we get. Right. But we just broke down to you your history, our history written up in the Bible. We went over what? The color of the real people. And they said they was what? Black. Said black. It's plain upon tables. We went over the commandments, which are what? We went over 3, which is what? Right? That's what. Yep, you have to start the fringes, the tassels. And then what else? The last one that we just read. Sabbath day, that's right. Now, like I said earlier, it's over 600 commandments. These commandments are perfect and they're made to govern a race of people. You learned 3. So now, when y'all got time, it's up to y'all to do your own research and your own homework on the laws of God and the commandments of God, and then you begin to build up on the knowledge that you learned, then you increase therein as well. So before y'all leave, I'm gonna give you this last verse. Give me Hebrews 2, number 1. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 1. And it's a very humbling thing that y'all came up with. Y'all listen to the words of God. Believe it or not, our people, we try to tell them we got 2 minutes for the Lord. We done had drinks thrown on us.
Right.
We told you that you God's chosen people. Yeah, brothers been spit on. Brothers not have to get into physical altercations, all because we telling our people that we God's chosen people. You the favorite. The same way how they deal with us, a lot of our people, that's how they dealt with Christ. Why do you think Christ was crucified?
Right.
He was an unjust he was a just black man who got killed unjustly by the Roman Empire.
Right.
Who are the Romans? So-called white man.
Right.
He got hanged by the white man during the time of the Roman captivity. He was a just, righteous man. He lived the same life that an average Negro lives today. So our whole message, so give y'all this reminder of who you are according to the Bible. Y'all will be who? The biblical who? Jews, the Israelites.
Right.
All right, the Jews, the Israelites, the real Hebrews.
Right.
God's chosen people.
Right.
God to repent and keep God's commandments.
Right.
Bring this up.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, and verse number 1.
Bring it out.
Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard.
God said, the things that you heard, give a good earnest heed, meaning listen closely. You know?
Lest at any time
It's that any time.
we should let them slip.
So these words that you heard today, you don't want to let them slip. These are pure words, and this is the truth. Again, the church, they're not going to teach you this.
Right.
The damn school systems, damn Howard, Oxford University, damn all these top Ivy League schools, they're not going to teach you who you really are.
Right.
That you really come from the land of Israel.
Right.
That the real Jews got taken from Africa and put into slavery via the migration of the slave trade.
Right.
That we got scattered across the 4 corners, and then in the last days, Christ is going to raise you back up. They're not going to teach you all that.
Right.
But God in the Bible, He's going to teach you all things. And like I said, it's very humbling that y'all actually stopped and y'all listen to the words of the Most High God. I know it's the last one. This is really the last one. Then we're going to give y'all flyers. Hear him right there. The elder going to give you a flyer. Then y'all can enjoy the rest of y'all day. Read this in Hosea chapter 1 and verse number 10. This is a prophecy. Y'all listening to this word. In the last days, it's actually prophecy that's actually being fulfilled. Bring this up, Hosea.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 1, verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
The number of the children of Israel is like the sand of the sea. You can't number us, you know?
Which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
Same place where it was said to us, y'all are not God's people. Y'all are niggers, niggas, spics, porch monkeys, African Americans, Afro Americans, black. When all these labels was placed upon you, they said y'all not God's chosen people. Y'all the real Gentiles. That's what they said. Y'all the slaves. Y'all the damn y'all the wetbacks. The same place was going to be called those names.
There it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
The Lord say,
Ye are the sons of the living God.
read that again.
Ye are the sons of the living God.
What are these brothers?
Ye are the sons of the living God.
That same place is going to be said that y'all the real sons of the living God. Y'all all the Israelites, God's chosen people, and people near and dear to the Most High.
Right.
So y'all grab a flyer. What the elder read? Y'all got flyers? Any brother got an extra flyer? The brother right here got a flyer for you. So y'all look into that flyer. That flyer got a YouTube channel, QR codes, got a social media. If you got any questions, reach out. Got any questions? Again, we got the YouTube channels. Y'all from Chicago? Memphis. We got a camp in Memphis. If you turn it around, let me see. No, turn it back around. At the bottom right there. That one right there, if you scan that QR code, we have a camp or a congregation in certain cities. We got a camp in Memphis. All right, the mighty brother Nahum down there in Memphis, mighty officer. Whenever y'all got time, scan that QR code, look at those videos, and most of y'all learn more than what y'all learned today. All right, so y'all brothers have a nice time. All right, y'all keep the Sabbath day holy, okay? All right, Most High, all praise to the Most High. All right, y'all brothers get back safe. All praise to the Most High. Love, brothers, love. Give it up for the Lord, man. All right, let's give it up for the Most High. All right, all praise to the Most High. And that's why we out here. That's why, which is one of the precepts on fishing and things of that nature. Got to relate to the fish, catch the fish, reel them in, give them that good word. Give me Jeremiah 50 and 17. All right, Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse number 17. So that's what this ministry is about. This ministry is not about being entertained by madness, mad monkeys.
Right.
Saying they love Chicago with crowns on their head.
Right.
And folly and madness. Now this truth is about bringing the lost sheep back to the Most High God. Bring this out.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 17. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. For the king of Assyria had devoured him. And last this, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had broken his bones.
And that's what happened. These nations, they robbed us, they oppressed us. Assyria and Babylon, spiritually representing America, they came and they literally broke our bones. Literally, they broke our bones as a people. Give me Judah chapter 9 and verse number 11. So they oppressed us, they robbed us, they murdered us, they spoiled us. But the same things that happened to these people, God said that he's the God of those people. He's the God of the afflicted, the God of the poor, the God of the ones that's being persecuted. Bring this out of Judah 9.
It's the book of Judah, chapter 9, verse 11. For thy power standeth not in a multitude, nor thy might in strong men. For thou art a God of the afflicted.
God said he's the God of the afflicted, like how we telling those brothers. The Israelites are the only race of people that's known of being the afflicted. It's not the Amalekite man, right? That got oppressed by the so-called Nazis for a short time period. Now the real affliction is when you have a whole race catching hell simultaneously. So God said he's the God of the afflicted, you know?
And helper of the oppressed.
Helper of the oppressed. Who's been oppressed more than the so-called black and Hispanic man? All right, who's been oppressed more than God's chosen people? Throughout the four corners of the earth, no matter where you're going at this whole earth, that's the curses. You're going to see Israel oppressed. You're going to see a man chained up. You're going to see videos and pictures of people being at the bottom of societies, lynches and robbers and murders. So he's a God of the oppressed, you know?
An upholder of the weak, a protector of the forlorn, a savior of them that are without hope.
Read that again.
A savior of them that are without hope.
What's salvation for?
A savior of them that are without hope.
I say he's a savior of them that are without hope. How many times have we talked to Jake and we ask brothers a lot of times, ask Jake, do you have hope? Jake can tell you straight up, there is no hope in this place. All you know is drug dealing, gang banging, freaking off on females, and then he think that's his life. You got certain brothers that never left the city of Chicago, and they died in that city. Or you got Jake, they dying at 14 years old, 15 years old. They never been across the border. They never been to these other bordering states. They just grew up there. That's all they know is Chicago, and they died in that city at 14 years old, 16 years old, 18 years old. So God said he's the God and the savior of the ones that's without hope. You know what? And we read this. What other race comes to mind? What other race comes to mind? We read about this list that God is bringing out. You don't read about, you don't imagine a Chinese man when you hear people that's without hope. You don't imagine a so-called white man and people that's without hope. You don't imagine these people. Who do you imagine? The people on this sign. It's not my bad. You imagine the people on this sign, God's chosen people. And these people, the so-called white man or white woman, they have a strict judgment coming for what they did to God's chosen people. So read on in that.
Verse 12, I pray thee, O God of my father, and God of the inheritance of Israel, Lord of the heavens and earth, creator of the waters, king of every creature, hear thou my prayer, and make my speech and deceit to be their wound and strip, who have purposed cruel things against thy covenant.
Sit on that. Give me Isaiah chapter 1 and verse number 5. Give me 2 Maccabees chapter 2 Maccabees. Something about that. I see you got the essentials. Fear of God. So yes, I think this is what it was. Seeing that, sure, I knew y'all had a defense for the Lord. So what we teaching is that the so-called black man, so-called Hispanic man, Native American man, according to the Bible, will be God's chosen people. Y'all ever heard that before? I never heard that before. Believe it or not, but God didn't choose all races. God chose a race that's known for being at the bottom of society, that's known for being oppressed, that's known for going through slavery. Because God, He's not the God of the ones that's on top. God, believe it or not, God's the God of the underdogs. In 2025, what race seems like they're the underdog? So-called black people. Bring that again in Judith chapter 9. That's a spirit. So in the Bible, God tells you that He tells you who's He the God of. Then He simplifies it and lets you know what race He's the God of. Give me that in classic Daniel. Deuteronomy 29 again. So we're gonna see what God is the God of. Bring this up. All right, Judith chapter 9 verse number 11.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29 and verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel.
When we read these words in context, everything that we read is going to refer to the children of Israel. Yeah, who are the children of Israel? I don't know. The children of Israel will be us. We will really be God's chosen people. We're known as the children of Israel. Now it's going to exemplify or magnify who the children of Israel are and what they go through to this very day. We'll read about the atrocities of the children of Israel. We'll bring this up.
It's the book of Judah, chapter 9, verse 11. For thy power standeth not in a multitude, nor thy might in strong men. For thou art a God of the afflicted.
God said He's the God of the afflicted. Let's turn the sign around real quick. Now, when you look on the sign, who's the afflicted? So-called black man. Now, did God say He's the God of everybody? Didn't say that. Didn't say He's the God of all people. He said He's the God of the afflicted. Read on. Oh, yeah. Well, look at your pants. And then look at your skin. That's why. Nobody's truly black. When you even think about it, every race has brown skin. You ever seen the East Indian man? The ones that got the red dots on their foot? Yeah, they brown skin. Yes, a lot of them be darker than us. Do we call them black? Well, you got certain Chinese people. We look at the old images of Chinese people, they weren't really light skinned, it was all dark people. What's another race? The Japanese men, dark race. African men, the Ethiopian, the Nigerians, the Somalians, they're dark races. They never call themselves black. So why do we call ourselves black when we all have melanated skin? That's something to think about. So that's why we say so-called black. Because nobody's the physical color of your pants, my coat, and the hat that this brother got on. We're all different shades of brown. More importantly, God never called no one black.
Right.
And when you think about it, everything that's associated with black is what? Evil. Just think about it. Black, what they say about superstition? Black cat. Is that good or bad? What about black magic? What about if you blackmail somebody? What if you got black Air Force Ones on? Bad. Black ski masks. You see what I'm saying? They label all of those, and guess who they put in there? Black people. Now subconsciously you're just thinking, oh yeah, these people bad. And when you walk past them, make sure you lock the lock the door, lock your car door. Yeah, clutch your purse. Walk on the other side of the street when you see these people. That's what they think, because that word, that term associated with black is already likened it to evil. We didn't call ourselves that, but the so-called white men called us. And why they calling us black, that's what they're calling themselves. White. What does white represent? Purity.
Right.
Holiness, yeah. Righteousness. Clean. We got all white Air Force Ones. You pop it out clean. You got an all white fit on you. They wear that to weddings. Why? Because that's a color associated with pureness. And they wear black to funerals. Black, that's that dead estate, that low estate. So they set up these words to subconsciously plant in your mind that you're nothing, that they something. That's why they walk around with their chest poked out, their hair high, and we walk around with guns and switches and ski masks as if we're a low people. When really God, as we just read, last time we just read, he's the God of the afflicted. He's our God. And the words that we read, He was speaking to the children of Israel. So we would be the true Israelites. We know in there.
And helper of the oppressed, and upholder of the weak, a protector of the fallen, a savior of them that are without hope.
Right, and the people like this is the people that's without hope. God said he's the God of the oppressed, the afflicted, and he's the God of the people that's without hope. That all represents the so-called Black American man in so-called 2025. But the thing is, like we just talked over, God never called nobody black in the Bible. Look at this sign right here. This sign, you can scoot this over a little bit over. This sign right here, God created 18 nations, 18 races. We read Genesis. These are all the races that God created. Now, as I'm looking, I don't see a black man. I don't see a nigga, Negro, Afro-American, African-American. I see God giving names and nationalities. Now, on this side will be the Hebrew version. This side will be what you see in the Bible a lot. That's why I said so-called white man, go back to the man Edom. The Israelites, that's where we will come from. Chinese man Moab. Everybody knows who they go back to, except the so-called black man. Give me Jeremiah 17:4. But that was prophesied in the Bible. Now, y'all went to church, right? So you got the cross, so you got the fear of God. So y'all know about the church lifestyle there. In the church, have they ever taught you that you are God's chosen people? Never heard about that. We just read that God is the God of the poor and the afflicted. Clearly look at the sign who's that's talking about. That's talking about our people. So how come we never heard about this in church? How come the church never told you that you're not a so-called black man? And that every other race is dark-skinned, but they don't call themselves black. It's certain questions that when you start sitting back, you start asking, a lot of lines ain't gonna connect. The only thing that's gonna make it connect is when you link it up with these words and you link it up with your life and find out that your ancestors are the people of this book that wrote it for you, to you, and it was written again by our people.
Right.
Bring this up.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse number 4.
Bring it out.
And thou even thyself
You, even yourself and ourselves, Rudolph,
shall discontinue from thine heritage.
shall what?
Shall discontinue from thine heritage.
God said the Israelites were going to discontinue from their heritage.
Right.
When you discontinue something, you cut it off. Like if you got a damn a membership, you get that notification on your damn Google Gmail. We done discontinued the gym membership, discontinue your Fortnite V-Bucks. You know they discontinue stuff. God said if you keep messing around, you keep effing around with me, I'ma discontinue you from your heritage. That's why we try to think about our heritage now. We don't know.
Right.
You ask the so-called Chinese man what's his heritage, he gonna let you know. You know they worship the Day of the Dragon.
Right.
They got the Chinese New Year.
Right.
You know they got their long garments on, the chopsticks. Don't they always put their hair in a bun and they put the chopstick in it? That's their heritage. What's our heritage? If I was to ask you, what's the heritage of the so-called black man, Hispanic man, Native American man?
Fried chicken.
See that?
Tacos.
See that? Yeah. Watermelon, soul food, sagging pants. That's what the average Negro say. You know, we sag our pants. We carry guns with switches. You know, we wear ski masks.
Right.
We like fried chicken.
Right.
We play 2K, and then that's it.
Right.
You know, I'm good in the gym. But is that really? You said what? Yeah, we run fast. Catch me on the field. All right, catch me on a track and race field. But that's what they say about us. But we know a true heritage, that don't really consist of a true heritage.
Right.
True heritage consists of what we eat, the clothes that we wore, the mindset and the things that we had, what dances we had, garments we wore, things of that nature.
Right.
The color of your flag, because every nation got a flag. What's the so-called black man flag at in this country? Where his black ruler set up as a king. You don't see, you say what? Nowhere. But that's because God said out the Bible, he would discontinue a certain race from their heritage. So if you was to ask me a look-alike, it's a so-called black race, because we don't know. Before you was up here, it was two other brothers. We asked them the same thing. They didn't know.
Right.
If I asked another so-called black man, Hispanic man, what's his race? They wouldn't know.
Right.
But according to the Bible, your race, the Israelites, that's what it is. The Israelites, God's chosen people, the so-called black and Hispanic man. So y'all are not niggers, real niggas, YNs. Y'all are not that. Y'all will be God's chosen people, kings walking this earth. All right, give me Deuteronomy 4 and 5 again. And God set up laws, statutes, and commandments for us to follow.
Right.
The reason why, now fuck you to answer, what do you think the reason is, the reason of this people being at the bottom of slavery society? Why did God, this great God, this mighty God, why did he allow something like this to take place? You said what? Say it again. Struggle? But why though? Because I'm pretty sure y'all know everything is for a reason, right? So we gotta find out what's the reason for us going into slavery. Please read this.
Deuteronomy 4:28. It's a book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass that thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So God said, we don't listen. These things are gonna take place to the so-called black man. If you don't listen to God,
To observe to do all his commandments,
don't keep God's commandments. Read on.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
God said curses are going to be set upon a race of people that's going to overcome them and overtake them. You ask me, this is like a curse. This is not no Disney movie, princess fairy tale type of curse. This is a real life curse that was placed upon the Israelites. This happened to us. Read verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
I said, cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Now this brother gonna show you what it means to be cursed in the cities and cursed in the field. He gonna teach you more things that I could ever within only a few seconds.